I've taken a regular piece of cardboard, oh hey Bishop, and cut it into a 6 by 6 square here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm just going to conceive of some way to break up, turn this into like a very, very shallow box, sort of like what we would do with the flat, right? Because this would be the luan, or the plywood, for those of you who don't know what luan is. And then this would be the 2x4, or the luan facing around the outside, right? So this is where using our super glue is really helpful. I'm not going to break my own rule and start gluing with super glue on top of this cutting mat, although this cutting mat has definitely seen better days. I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of paper underneath it. I'm just going to go ahead and do one tack right there. So what a tack is if you just go ahead and put one little blob right there. And then I would have prepped normally ahead of time to dry this. And I'm just going to use this as a little dipper. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that little spot right there. So I like to do sort of little cute spot welds, if you will. So it's already dry. I would then go ahead and move on to the next one here. And I might do one in the middle just because this seems a little gappy. And I would probably be being a little bit more careful so I don't see the super glue if I was doing this for technique. For technique, sometimes as we move forward, you're not going to want to see blobs of glue everywhere, right? So you might be careful about how big your blob is. But now it's on there, and I can go ahead and do a whole bead of it along the way. So I'm just going to do between these two little tacks. Hold it till it's dry for a second and move on to the next one. But this is why we use gesso, is to cover up any of the gross super glue lines that we see. I could have pre-cut this, or I can just go ahead and use some kind of little bit of a ruler here, being careful that the super glue is actually dry. And I can go ahead and cut this off. So you can do a little cut list just as you would if you were building something out of wood in the theater, or you can just sort of go with it. I find that in these cases, just sort of going with it is a little faster, but it really depends on what kind of a person you are personally. So I'm going to go ahead and do the second edge here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is lined up. So where I'm going to start is actually this corner here. So I'm going to line it up so it's a nice pretty corner, and I'm going to start all the way up here. Just one little tiny dot. And then I'm going to go somewhere in the middle again. The other thing is, if you don't want your tack to be super big, you can take just some kind of scrap piece here and hit it while it's drying. So just to repeat what I just did, I created a little blob. I went ahead and put a little bit of accelerant on there. Before it dried with the accelerant, I wiped away the excess. See that? And then I could go ahead and go all the way upwards on this seam, because you really want to be reinforcing these seams with super glue because it makes them nice and strong. And then you can do more things to them without worrying that you're going to break it, because super glue is very brittle. And here I am doing it on the thing again. Super glue is very brittle, so you kind of need a lot of it to reinforce it. So as I go, I could be wiping away the excess if I wanted to. And then I could go ahead and I'm pretty good at slicing straight edges freehand. Someday you will be too. And so then now we have this nice little corner. I'm going to go ahead and proceed to do that to the other two edges.